The Meteorological Services branch is currently hosting our third National Climate Forum. We believe it's a big deal. It's really the third one that we've ever hosted. We had two last year, one representing the wet season and then the other representing the dry season. So what the intention is for these forums is to apprise our nation, apprise all our stakeholders about what is really happening with our climate and what the projections are for the next few months, so that we can prepare ourselves for what we will encounter where climate change and climate variability and actually the movements of our climate are concerned. And so this forum actually pulls together the stakeholders from right across various sectors. We have the education sector that is represented, we have the agriculture sector, the tourism sector, the health sector, we have representatives from the energy sector and the water sector, all coming together because climate actually impacts all of us wherever we are. And we believe that what is changing in our climate is also reason for us to stop for a while, look at what is being presented, and then see what we need to do to address some of these changes, to make ourselves better, more resilient, to be able to deal with these changes and to make sure that our productivity actually continues and is even enhanced because of our preparations for the changes that we are expecting and experiencing. We had a session earlier this morning that really spoke about how we noticed some changes in the climate for Jamaica. So we have moved from where we were talking about a period from 1971 to 2000. Now we're at the point where we're talking about 1991 to 2020, which is a 30-year period that tells us how our climate is actually operating at this time and how it has changed from what we used to see 10, 20, 30 years ago. And what we have noticed is that, of course, all of us are experiencing the higher temperatures, and it has concluded that there are actually higher temperatures being experienced. And so there is a trend toward a warming of Jamaica, not just the planet, but Jamaica. And it's also showing that our rainfall is actually decreasing. It might not be at tremendous levels in any one year, but it is actually decreasing when you look over the long term, that we are having less rainfall and we are having warmer temperatures. That means that many of us have to kind of pivot at this time, see what it is that we have to do differently and how we need to address some of the challenges that we face to ensure that we remain a productive nation and one that increases in our economic growth, for example. Because all of this ties together, all of it is important as we go through policy making, as we go through implementation of projects, and as we go about actually doing whatever we do. So what we noticed from our research is that the patterns of our rainfall have actually changed somewhat. Whereas we would normally get most of our rainfall May to June, much of that has shifted a little bit earlier, more into the April to May, and June is becoming a drier month. Even drier than July now, and July used to be that low point in the summer period. So that's one of the changes we're seeing. We're also seeing that the temperatures are really increasing on a year-to-year basis. In 2024, it might not have been as high as 2023, primarily because there was a La Nina phenomenon that tends to reduce the temperatures somewhat, the extreme temperatures. But we're likely to see a return to that increasing temperature as we go through 2025. That is just a snippet of what we've been hearing so far. We've had the climate studies group from the University of the West Indies that have come also to tell us about the long-term projections, how close we are to that 1.5 degree deviation that is going to mean that we reach a point where we can hardly cope as a Caribbean, where we have to pull out all the stops in order to continue to live. So we're again pushing for some changes when it comes to how we deal with our climate and how we deal with our fossil fuels in order to ensure that our climate is able to sustain life here on this planet.